Hello to all my fellow glorious Gaians. Thank you for joining me, Amber, on my channel, Guidance Through Gaia, where I do tarot pick-a-card readings. If this is your first time here, welcome, and I hope that you find something that resonates here with you today. And if you are a returning viewer, thank you for giving me another opportunity to read your energy. I am opening up for personal readings again. I feel that I am getting really back in my groove and can dedicate more of my time to tarot card readings. If that's something that you're interested in, there is a link to my email address down in the description box down below. I'm also looking into possibly just opening up a Google Docs that will describe the services that I offer, so it's a little bit more accessible to you. But if you send me an email, I will get you that information so you can decide if it's a service you want to pursue. And if what I have listed isn't something that interests you, but you still would like to render my services, we can always talk about how I can modify my services to fit your needs. So we're going to get into it. We're going to do an 18 plus tarot card reading again today, guys. We're going to try not to get in trouble this time. The question that we are looking into is, what will happen in your next sexual encounter? So we've got 3 piles here, and I went and I chose stickers at Michael's. That's where I went today. And I decided that these were one of the packs of stickers I was going to get. There's several more, but we have here 3 options. And I only know what these are called because they were listed like they have the names, they weren't attached to them, but they were right next to them. So this is a gin and tonic for group number 1. Group number 2 will be the old fashioned. And group number 3 will be the mojito. We're going to be using tarot cards to just look at what will happen during this sexual encounter, but they're not spicy tarot cards. I have to go through my spicy decks and kind of block some of the features out. Then we're going to be using charms and my sticker bag to get a little bit more information about what this encounter will be like and what will happen. So go ahead, pick your pile or piles, and I will see you there. Bye. Hello, group number 1. You chose the gin and tonic sticker. So this will be a reading on what will happen during your next sexual encounter. So we are going to look at, break it down to like the beginning, middle, and ending. First of all, try to get some juicy details. These aren't sexy time cards. But that's okay. That just means I get to use a little bit more of my imagination. Just can't rely on the visuals as much, you know? One thing I've really enjoyed about doing tarot is that it allows me to explore creativity. And I just want to thank all of the other tarot readers. First of all, y'all are inspirations, like especially the ones that have been here obviously a lot longer than I have. But like just to everyone who practices and shares their practice for the rest of us to see, like, thank you so much, because it really, even as someone who's been reading for like almost 2 decades, I learned so much from you guys, you know, I do. So I thank you. I thank you to my community. So let's look at what happens in the very beginning of group 1's sexual experience. Ooh, we've got the companion, the king of spirals. Now I know that looks like an old man, but he is a king. And the king of spirals is someone who is, he's the king of wands, you know, the fire element. And so this is somebody involved is definitely taking an authority position, or they may be the person who is very sexually alluring. We've got the 2 of spirals in reverse. Now, especially with this being the companion, companion typically makes me think of somebody to whom we are like in a committed relationship with. And then the Two of Spirals. Ooh, we've got Kali in the Tower. Well, I don't think I need to use my imagination too much with that card. That makes me think, though, of the Two of Spirals being in reverse. With the bird's nest here, that makes me... Okay, I'll get there. Makes me think of someone who's separate from home. Someone that there's been a disconnect with. So this could be somebody that you have previously been in a connection with. This could be somebody that, that you aren't in a connection with anymore. This could be your actual companion who has been separate from home, been away on business. Maybe the two of you live at a distance. If this isn't someone that you are like already connected with in a serious way or have been connected with in a serious way, this is somebody who is very physically alluring. Somebody who has just kind of like this sexual magnetism, even just by looking at them. They don't necessarily have to be sexual, to be sexually invigorating or attractive. There is this feeling of either not having been involved with someone for quite some time, or of having had this desire for someone, especially in particular, whether this has just been an object of your affection, or your actual partner or previous partner. It's like almost like there's just been this longing, and I feel like in the very beginning of this meeting, there might be a sense of awkwardness. If the two of you don't really know each other, like say this could be like a Tinder or a Hinge or a Grindr date, and y'all are just meeting up to have fun, there could be a sense of awkwardness, especially for one person in the situation, and the other individual, I'm seeing someone who like just kind of, even though this is like a fiery energy, it's like a slow burn. It's like a slow burn in the very beginning. And almost like the companion is someone who is really easing the other individual into feeling comfortable about the interaction, taking control. I'm seeing like, and feel, it's like very warm, like, a lot of soft caressing, maybe a little bit of like gentle, playful banter. Because even though the King of Wands is somebody that you might expect to move fast, the King of Wands moves more so with like intention, I think. There might not necessarily be a lot of thought to what the King of Wands does, but that's because like he knows what he wants, and he knows that he will make a pathway to getting what he wants. If this is like a reuniting of lovers or ex-lovers, I feel like it's not going to be quite like jump into bed right away. It's going to be something where, God, I'm hearing just like really soft whispers. And I'm like thinking of a deep voice or a soft voice, lots of looking into each other's eyes. There's like this fire that's like starting to burn between the two of you. I do feel I keep noticing this as like the Two of Spirals as being, these remind me of breasts. Let's be real. And so there may be a person who is very heavily fixated on like a chest area, whether the person has like the object of the affection or the attention has breasts, or if they have like pecs, or just like, you know, even if like the shape of the upper body isn't too defined, it's just like this hyperfixation on that area. And it almost seems like there's not necessarily a lot of words, but there's this understanding there. But we get to Kali the Tower, and that makes me feel that it goes from 0 to 60 pretty intensely. It could be that just this, like, tension is building up. And so, you know, there could be physical signs of arousal. If someone does have, like, a penis or whatever, there could be an erection that is noticeable. Nipples could become, like, very observable. And I think the encounter truly begins with like oral fixations. There could be a lot of kissing, a lot of like French kissing, a lot of tongue action. There could be biting on the neck. This does make me think of the tower. You know, we've got the tower itself, which is phallic in nature, so there could be a blowjob involved. Then this, with how this tree is split, that also does make me think though of like like was it Canigulus? Or just someone getting eaten out, you know. And this could be even like if someone is into like rim jobs or anything like that, eating booty, like that could be involved. I think it's almost like this feeling of being devoured. And so there could be a person involved in this connection who does just really, really enjoy that. I think also if this is a couple that has been in separation for any reason, whether because they broke up or there's been time or distance between them, I feel like there's just this craving there. And you know what, like with this third eye open with Kali, the tower, there's something psychic about it. You know, almost like especially the person who is engaging in like initiating the kissing or exploring the person's body with their mouth. It's almost like they're they're hyper aware to the ways in which the other partner is even subconsciously and subtly communicating. So they can hear like the way the breathing shifts, or they notice like if they hit a spot that seems to be more erogenous than other locations. You know, they hear the different pitches of the way someone is like moaning or groaning or whimpering. They can feel the tension of the body, and so they're paying very, very close attention, because at the end of the day, like, they want their partner to enjoy themselves. And I think they feel an intense level of enjoyment from being able to do that as well. It's just, it's like, it starts off like so almost tender, or there's like a sense of restriction, but not really like a restriction like, oh, we can't do this, but more just so kind of like warming your guys' energies up to each other, and I don't know, allowing any tension to like melt away before you really dive deep. We've got the Ace of Stones in reverse as well. So once again, something that makes me think of an erection. I do feel that if there is penetration that's involved, like a phallic sense of penetration, whether that's use of like a biological penis, or if someone has a strap on, I definitely like feel like a throbbing there. You know, this desire to like just I know just put it in, put it in. But because it's in the reverse here, there's going to be a delay in that occurring. And that might be a little maddening to the person who would like to be penetrated. But it's all there to just kind of like heighten the pleasure. This is something that doesn't feel like, even though we've got cards that would typically indicate like fast movement, you know, being fire and tower, but what rules the tower? Actually, I don't recall. What rules the tower. But even though these two cards definitely would make me think of fast movement, it's almost like it's not so much fast as it is like transformative movement and becoming like very deeply involved in the act. There's just something about like wanting to take time, wanting to enjoy and savor. I can almost feel like with these skulls here, just like someone trying to kind of control the sounds they make. And I don't think the other person would want that. But they might also kind of find it cute. Like, oh yeah, just see how long you can keep that up. So we're going to see. There could also be like the use of fingernails or other like sensory and like light pain sort of activities. So we're going to get to the middle. Let's go into the middle of what this encounter is like. We've got the Four of Spirals in reverse. The Ten of Stones in reverse. The Five of Stones in reverse. We've got Mott with Justice, Merlin the Hero, and then Elpie with the Star in reverse. Okay. Yep, you're right. So actually we're going to have Merlin and Elpie clarifying underneath Mott. So with the Four of Spirals in reverse, it's making me think of like bring the house down. I feel like there is a buildup that is created. But even that buildup with the Ten of Stones in reverse, it's like something is incomplete. The encounter at first seems as if it is not, I don't want to say fulfilling, but it's like it doesn't complete the cycle. It could be that it could be if the two of you are in a relationship but at a distance, or there's a separation here. There could be somewhat of a pause in the interaction because the knowing of like not being able to stay together could potentially cause feelings of like sadness or regret, or it could, just like, I don't want to say like ruin the vibe, because I still feel like there's that passion and that energy there, but it's just tempered. However, I feel like and this could even be too, this could talk about like in circumstances like that, if someone comes to orgasm or whatever, and that feeling rushes over, but then the emotions also seep in, and there's this understanding of like, wow, that was great, but like this is temporary, and that could disrupt the sexual feelings at first. But with the 5 of Stones in reverse, what that shows me is that there's going to be, I would say not necessarily verbal, because stones are the earth suit of this deck. So this makes me feel very physical. So a lot of like physical attention that makes the other person feel like less alone. So for instance, if this person is going to have to, like if they're deployed and they come back, and you have like this euphoric orgasm or whatever, and then you come back down, you crash, and you're realizing like, oh my God, they're going to have to leave in 3 days again. I think that there is, there is a way in which there will be physical attention that offers a reprieve from the sadness, from the dread of that person leaving. Even if this is a couple that has since separated, they're no longer together, but they're kind of coming back together because they just hook up every once in a while, or they just missed each other, or this is a one-off. I think there is some physical affection, and with it being the 5 of Stones and not like the 5 of Cups, it's almost kind of like this promise of like, there is care here. I will be back, or I do miss you. For other situations, there could be a sense of dissatisfaction that only one person came. And so I think the person who was on the receiving end and was allowed to finish will turn the tables a little bit. So for instance, if they're the ones receiving like oral or whatever, like, okay, now it's my turn. They may not be interested in just, or have the intention of just getting into like the mutually beneficial aspect of a sexual encounter. They may be like, okay, I got mine, now I'm going to give you yours. There is a feeling of like reciprocity here. And with Justice, here, that talks about balance. That talks about making sure both individuals are mutually satisfied. And the Hero with the Star in reverse tells me that y'all might be trying something that maybe you haven't had a lot of experience in, or they may not have had a lot of experience in. It might not be something that's ever been done before. Why am I thinking of like JoJo Siwa? Like, no one's ever made this much of a change as I have. But I think that in the middle of the sexual encounter, we're going to see something a little bit different, like even like, the twist. even if it's like a little bit of a deviation from something that has, that you do have experience in or they have experience in, or something that the two of you have tried in the past or you've tried with other partners. It's kind of like it's this feeling of like we're gonna try this, pray to God this works out. So you're not. I feel like even though we're doing things we feel like pretty confident in, or they're feeling pretty confident in, we're also exploring other opportunities. I don't know if that's necessarily going to be too wild, but it's just kind of like, I might fuck this up. I might not get it right. I'm also noticed like these two characters are really hunched over. Like they're just wrapped around them. So there might be some like bondage in play or positions where maybe the people are wrapped around each other, or one person's body is just kind of, how would you say it? Like restricted a little bit more. I want to see what we're doing a little bit differently here. This can also talk, I think, about like having multiple orgasms, and or edging. Start and then like, oh, I'm almost there, but I'm not quite. Start and almost there. Oh my God. So there may be edging involved, but there will be a completion of that orgasm. But I want to see if there's anything specific we can talk about here. The Seven of Mirrors. That's the Seven of Cups in reverse. Oh. We could be doing something where there's been like a fantasy. Because the Seven of Mirrors in reverse can talk about like being stuck in fantasy. And so there might be, if you and someone else have talked about something like, I really want to try this, you could be exploring that with this connection, this sexual encounter. Otherwise, I feel like there's a lot of brain activity potentially going on. Because when upright with the Seven of Cups talks about a lot of options, but in the reverse, it can talk about being stuck in fantasy. And so there might be like, I don't know, y'all are getting it on, and maybe like you're imagining that instead of a hotel room, you guys are on the beach, and like trying not to get caught, but there's like people all around, and there's the lifeguards, and like, oh, maybe there's a helicopter that flies for, like you could be infusing fantasy like in your head into these sensations that you're experiencing. Merlin is a transformer. This is somebody who changes things up. And they're very, very creative. And so I feel like there is going to be, even though justice here can be a more practical aspect, we're looking at law and legal and balance and fairness. It could be that maybe something that's previously been discussed, there wasn't a complete agreement on how comfortable both, like one person at least was with it. So they kind of like compromise. So for instance, if you've always wanted to try like a threesome and the other person is like, you know what? I just like, I can't see myself sharing you with anybody. It could be that maybe instead of like it being a threesome, y'all pretend that you're strangers, and you're just like hooking up. Or there was something I saw where someone had made a compromise, and instead of like actually having sex, like bringing a third person in, there was like a dialogue that they had, where it was all fictional, and there was like a fictional person involved or whatever, like a character that they made up, where it was like the partner was talking about like cheating on their partner with, I don't know, that might be, some of y'all might be like, what the hell? But I mean, it's a way to explain like how you can get creative, if one person has a fantasy but the other person doesn't feel necessarily comfortable fulfilling that fantasy in that way. So sometimes there are ways in which like you can meet somewhere in the middle. Do we have any indicators about like what these fantasies might be? The 5 of Scrolls in reverse, so that's the Swords. And the 4 of Stones in reverse. Someone might be into cuckolding. So just like kind of like what I was describing, someone might be like, okay, I know that you don't feel comfortable having sex with someone else, but I want you to describe to me what you would do to them if you did. And so then in that respect, the other person might not even necessarily be comfortable imagining that they're having sex with this other person. So they might still be imagining having sex with the person that they're still having sex with, but describing what they would do. And the other person could like imagine that they're talking about the other person. So I think there's a lot of imagination here. And there's, we've got these 4s and these 5s in reverse. So we're talking here about breaking down like institutions, things that we're not comfortable with necessarily, things that aren't like the norm, things that might shake up foundations, but not necessarily resisting that. So I think the two of you will be kind of exploring what it means to have like a little bit of a non-traditional sexual encounter. I didn't ask. We got 7 of Spirals. Let's see. Okay, let's look at the ending here. We've got the 9 of Stones, the Green Man. Oh my God, and the Acrobat. The Acrobat. I feel like, especially with that 7 of Wands, the experimentation, or the stress of like knowing that, like, for instance, if you guys are going to have to part ways at some point in time, I think that anything mental that's going on here is going to lead to like this kind of overdrive of physicality. So that 7 of Wands is like becoming defensive. So instead of being like, like, oh man, I don't want to think about my partner going back overseas. I don't want to think about my ex-boyfriend or my ex-girlfriend leaving after this encounter. Or like, God, like, I don't know how this whole role play scenario went. I'm not feeling like the greatest about it. So instead of worrying about it, like, I'm gonna powerhouse. I think that any mental frustrations or insecurities or just being too focused on the mental aspect is going to lead to like a very intense physical finish. We had the 7 of Wands, like I said, which is, it's fighting for what you have earned. It's making sure that doesn't slip away from you. And then we've got the 9 of Stones, which is all about personal satisfaction. So there could be some masturbation towards the end, but this also talks about, this makes me think of the 9 of Wands. I know it's not the 9 of Wands, but this makes me feel like the 9 of Wands energy, where it's like really just pushing through that last bit until, like you're tired, you're exhausted. It's interesting that we have the King of Spirals and the Emperor here. I do think that with the Acrobat, And the Emperor, what this is demonstrating is that there's going to be like a rejuvenation. So y'all could be kind of tired, or it could even be like that mental tiredness of like, oh, this was kind of awkward. I don't know how I did. Or like, I don't want to think anymore about having to go or my partner having to go. There's going to be a rejuvenation in the very physical experience of the sexual encounter, and someone's going to be put into some crazy positions. So y'all better start, like, whether you are the person putting the other into crazy positions or whether you are the one being put in, y'all better start stretching now. That's what I got to say. You don't want to tear anything. We've got the Pilgrim with the Page of Scrolls in reverse. I feel like I'm hearing like not going to be able to walk. This does kind of feel like a longer encounter, so it might require more stamina, but even though like it kind of starts off gently, I feel like, and a little bit more slowly, and then the end is just kind of when I feel that speed and that power amps up. But we've got the Three of Spirals in reverse. That's Three of Wands. Why is that there? Oh, we've got the Muse, the Queen of Spirals, with the Ten of Scrolls. What I do feel is that there is an attempt for like mutual orgasm here, and that may not be possible. So especially for if the individual who was at the attention in the initial sexual process, if they did reach orgasm, they might not be able to have another orgasm again. This could also talk about, though, like, because there may be too much on this person's mind. And I think that may frustrate the Emperor, the King of Spirals. Because the fact that this is the Muse, like, the Muse person is absolutely worshipped, but the Muse person seems to have just a lot on their mind. What do they have on their minds? The Sojourner, King of Mirrors, and the... But I feel like... this is only temporary, that the, essentially the... There's just going to be some like coaxing or reassurance. And then I think it's going to be a hit. And I think the Muse person is going to be able to have like a very intense climax. And I think it's going to be loud. And there might be some like physical spasms involved. And I think they're just going to be exhausted afterwards. But it's going to take some nurturing and enticement from the other person. So let's see if we can get any messages. Ooh, Jeep. So this could be in a car. So maybe that's why we're feeling a little anxious. You know, being kind of out in public. Maybe y'all are camping or in a parking lot. We've got the cauldron with the flowers. So I do feel that there's something almost like magical about this. You know, it's like it was brewed into existence. We've got, this makes me think of a boob. So once again, I'm thinking like someone who's very heavily fixated on a boob. Someone may have the size of like grapefruits, or they might be described as like juicy. Could also be, I don't know. I know pineapple is supposed to make like basically cum taste better. Do grapefruits make them taste better as well? And then we've got a beverage there. So what that could indicate to me is maybe you guys are going out on a date first. This could also talk about it being like cooling off after summertime. But, you know, it makes me also think about mouth action, someone sucking on another person, viewing the other one as like a nice tall drink. Or finding it like refreshing. And then anything we got here. We've got the swan. So we could be seeing this outside. It could also just be the swan is like a soulmate. We've got a triangle. Which, am I wrong? Is the triangle like a queer symbol at all? I don't recall. It could also feel like a mountaintop. Oh, look at that. We've got another water bottle. So this is a connection that like this moment is definitely quenching your thirst. Sweater. Why is there a sweater? Oh, okay. Like being wrapped up, feeling cozy. Ooh, we have Leo here. So someone might be a Leo, and it says generous. Yes, we have a very generous lover present. We have the cats. We might think of that as like the pussy. Also makes me think of lion, like, you know, kind of prowling, you know, maybe playing with their meal a little bit. We have the moon, so this could happen at night, or it could also be just like a very like mystical, divine connection, or there may be something hidden about it, exploring unknown territory. And then we've got this, which I look at as like a beehive, so very much working together. So, group number 1, this was your reading. If it resonated, I would love to hear how in the comment section down below. If you liked the video, it'd be great if you could give it a thumbs up. And if you would like to become part of the family but haven't done so yet, you can join by hitting the subscribe button and the notification bell, and you'll find out whenever I upload a new video. Don't forget also, if you are interested in receiving a private reading from me, my contact information is in the description box down below. Just shoot me an email and we'll start the conversation. Bye. Hello, group number 2. You chose the old-fashioned drink. All right, so this is going to be your reading on what's going to happen during your next sexual encounter. So these cards are not explicit, but like I told group number 1, it's going to make me be a little bit more creative. I can't just rely on the imagery. All right. That's one thing I love about tarot, is being able to expand my creativity. You know, like it's a skill. For any of you who are interested in tarot but have always kind of like maybe struggled with thinking that you could do it because you can. That's my PSA. That's my soapbox. I will die on that hill. So we're going to look at the beginning, middle, and end of what the sexual encounter will entail. And then we will get some charms and stickers to get a little bit more information. All right. So I cleared my energy before this, and we're going to get started. Group number 2's next sexual encounter. What will the beginning be of their next sexual encounter? Okay, so the acrobat, the Page of Stones in reverse. what this tells me is you're not going to see this coming. This is going to be completely out of the blue. So this could be with somebody that you hadn't necessarily anticipated having an encounter with. Maybe you thought that you didn't stand a chance, I'm hearing, or like they would reject you, or that they weren't interested. Maybe you didn't even know they were interested, and they could just be popping into like your DMs or passing you a little glance. Okay. What is it? The Corsair, Knight of Spirals in reverse. Interesting. I'm just like, to me, this is hitting like so out of the blue. And the Eight of Wands in reverse. It might not start out particularly romantic, group number 2. This might not be hot and heavy. This, but I think it's coming in unexpectedly. It might even start off, for some of you, I'm getting it's going to start off as like a joke. Like someone's kind of making a joke. Like even if the two of you, if you're asking about somebody that you're with, maybe we've got the Two of Stones here. Maybe if the two of you have not been able to be like physical for whatever reason, because of like distance, or for some of you, I'm getting that there may be like physical limitations due to things like illness or injury. It might kind of start off playful or a joke, or someone just makes kind of a one-off comment, and it's kind of like looking at each other like, oh, you wanna? Maybe, you down? And with this Eight of Spirals in reverse, that's the Eight of Wands. What that's telling me is it's going to start off slowly. I think there is some uncertainty here, maybe some awkwardness, or like, for instance, if there is like someone just kind of overcoming an illness, or someone who maybe sustained an injury, or maybe even if there's like a disability involved, like just kind of taking this slow, gentle approach. With the Two of Stones, there's definitely going to be the interest in like consent, mutual interest, or even like comfortability here. It's interesting that we have wands and stones energy, so fire and earth. So there's like, even though we see a lot of this in reverse, what this is telling me is that there's a lot of suppressed emotion here, or a lot of suppressed desire, a lot of suppressed like interest. So it's very likely that one or both of you have been interested in pursuing something physical for a while, waiting for a partner to like heal from a surgery, or having that coworker where maybe there's just a little bit of sexual tension there. But there's also been this kind of feeling of like, nah, now's not the right time. Like I don't want to potentially risk the healing process of my partner, or like, what if they're not, like, what if my coworker isn't into it? And so it's going to start off slow. It's going to start off subtly. It could even be like, if this is a coworker situation, or like a mutual friend, or even like someone online, although with this being very much like physical realm where we see fire and earth, I feel like this is somebody that you do have at least the occasional like ability to be in close proximity to. Maybe I should take some water. I'm gonna drink some water. It could be like a slightly flirty text. It could be like I don't think it's gonna be something lame like, you up? What you doing? But someone could message you, or even you could message somebody, like if this is somebody that like is part of a mutual friend group, or like an acquaintance or whatever, and you could just be like, someone could be like, hey, I saw that you did something with your hair recently. It looks really nice. I feel like someone is making a move here, but there is an unsureness about how that's going to be received. I want to see, like, if how does it start physically? We've got the Illusionist with the Knight of Stones in reverse. So with the Knight of Stones being the Knight of Pentacles, I don't think it's very calculated. I think it's kind of like whatever physical movement is made, if there is physical movement, because this could also indicate there might not necessarily be a physical sexual encounter. If this is somebody who you interact with more in like a digital space, I think it may remain in the digital space. But if this is somebody that you do have physical contact with, I don't think the contact is going to be necessarily like planned. And I don't think it's going to be anything like grand, you know, like some people come into a sexual experience and they just like want to strut their stuff, you know, and it's like they kind of pull out every move from the Kama Sutra, or like, and I don't think that's necessarily happening here. I think this is a situation where it is more practical. So if like this is like a newer connection or somebody that you're not normally intimate with, this might be somebody who is with the Illusionist in reverse, making gestures to show like the fact that they are very physically interested in you. So this could be something like it starts off with a kiss, you know. It could also be like, I would say like, you know, touching the inner thigh or the lower back. You know, a deep look into the eyes, because there's something here that's like, there's not a playbook for it. You know, I don't feel like the contact is like grandiose. It could start off as like, I think, a simple gesture, but it's something that very clearly indicates like, hey, I'm into you and I want to get this thing going. And if this is a situation where maybe somebody has been feeling ill and they're recovering, or there's an injury, or there's like a disability, I think the interaction physically starts off with like making sure, is this okay? Does this hurt? Do you feel comfortable this way? Can we get more about the physical aspect of the beginning of this interaction? We can, indeed. We've got the Muse with the Queen of Spirals in reverse. I think there is going to be a lot of clumsiness here, group number 2, which can be very endearing. You know, don't let this get into your head if the clumsiness is like on your part as well. The Muse with the Queen of Spirals being the Queen of Wands in reverse, it could be like very much not feeling confident about the interaction. And the Muse, and it being defined as the Muse, you know, a Muse is an inspiration. I have this feeling it's like someone's kind of just dumbfounded, like, oh my God, I got this shot, or like, you know, this is like group number 2 is just like so beautiful, or so intoxicating, or so handsome, so sexy, so out of my league or whatever, and I just I'm fumbling this. I don't know what to do. It could also mean too that, especially in situations where we are in circumstances where someone has a disability that may impede the sexual performance, or not even like impede, require adaptation. If there was, like recovering from an illness or recovering from an injury, it may be less about showing passion and more about what's practical, because I feel like there is this desire to connect and to have that sexual intimacy, but there's also this desire to be accommodating, not to cause any further complications or problems. And it is really sweet. It is. This bear kind of trying to cross this gap makes me think of someone who's like kind of tiptoeing. Gosh, let's see if I can get any further energy before we move on into the middle of it. With the quartz cards all being in reverse, I definitely feel like this could involve in the very beginning, like more of the traditional sexual encounter. Like why am I it took me so long to remember what this was called, but starting off in missionary position, because this makes me think of people who were like laying down. I think overall the beginning of the sexual encounter is just very simple. It's potentially asking about any concerns about how to proceed, clarifying that there's consent, and I feel like this kind of trepidation about furthering the sexual contact. It's making sure that we're comfortable, we're not rushing anything. I would definitely say this is starting somewhere in a very private setting. I don't think this is going to be anything crazy like at a party, or at a public place. Could involve a hotel room, more likely someone's house. Because if it's starting off slow, I'm telling you what, it's not like getting quick in rude. That was freaking rude. It's not like a getting quick on a lunch break, So we're gonna go next into and if the hesitancy is on the other person's part, like I would just say some of them might benefit from a little playful banter, to kind of ease the tension, but others might really, I didn't ask yet. Yeah, see, okay, yep, this is confirmation for me that there's stress about not having done this before, or not feeling like they're knowing what they're doing. The 10 of Spirals upright, and then the 8 of Pentacles in reverse. But they might need some reassurance, and it might be beneficial if you're in a position to like take charge, whether that's like physically or verbally. That might help release the tension. Otherwise, if you're the one feeling nervous, I would say don't be nervous. They might think it's cute though. All right, so we're gonna get into what's the middle experience of this encounter, and we're really looking, universe, for like physical experiences, settings, activities. So we've got the 10 of Stones. Someone's going to be putting in the work, okay? Someone is definitely putting in the work. With these crystals like this, I feel like there's probably going to be, well, there could be toys involved. This kind of makes me think of someone who's coming out with like, look at my collection. Instead of being like, oh, I've got a job done. I've got a job done. I've got a box of dildos. I've got a box of dildos. So someone might be coming out with some toys, and I think they're very proud of their collection, as they should be. Okay. What else can you tell us about the middle of group number 2's encounter? The divine child with the Hierophant in reverse. I will say, if this is a pairing that could conceive a child and that's not and if that is the goal, I don't think that is going to be something that occurs at this time. And I know fertility issues are a very trying, journey, when you want to have children and for some reason it's not happening. I'm sure if that's the case for any of you watching, I would encourage you not to be disheartened, but I'm sure you've also done your fair research of what issues may be present. Let's get some more. The 5 of Stones and Kali. So why do we have the Hierophant in reverse? The Minstrel, the King of Stones. Why do we have the 5 of Stones? We've got the Pilgrim with the Page of Scrolls in reverse. And why we have Kali here with the 9 of Stones. Okay. I do feel like there could be a mental barrier around orgasmy, so I would encourage people to try to just enter into the situation like, being generous with their bodies, in terms of like, if we put too much pressure, like mental pressure on like, oh my God, I want to come, or I want to make this person come. Like sometimes that amps up the anxiety. Someone could experience, like a loss of erection or a struggle to maintain an erection, or somebody may experience like dryness. So if that is an issue, just remember to be gracious with yourselves and with each other. There's always lubrication. If dryness is an issue, stress can definitely cause struggles in like erections or whatever. At the end of the day, like none of that's really a big deal. We get so in our heads about it, but there are other ways to enjoy each other's bodies and have a pleasurable experience for ourselves. The Hierophant is about tradition, and the Minstrel, that's an artist, right? That's someone who's playing a tune. And we've got the dog here, which I don't think, there could be some pet play involved, that because when we're looking at the Hierophant in reverse, that can talk about doing things in a non-traditional sense, kind of thinking outside of the box. So someone may be experimenting with like pet play, not live literal animals, but like role playing, they're there could be that. I think there's also a desire to explore and outside of the ordinary, especially if this is a situation where accommodations have to be made due to like an illness. Why did my voice just crack? Illness. Like an illness or an injury or a physical disability or something like that. I think music could play a big role in in the experience. Y'all might have a playlist you're setting up. Someone might have to leave the sexual interaction for a hot second. I don't know if you get like a phone call or maybe to retrieve something. For some other people, I feel like maybe what happens in this circumstance is like someone is like masturbating the other person, or even one person is watching the other masturbate. But at the end of the day, what we've got here is we've got a situation where a party like both people, I do believe, have the ability to experience extreme pleasure, because we've got Kali here, which is the Tower. And like I was pointing out in group 1, you know, this is very reminiscent of like oral play. I think what this could symbolize is that the more comfortable the both of you get with the circumstances and or with each other, the more free you are going to have an experience. So it might start off where there's a sense of insecurity, uncertainty, not knowing like, how does this feel? Is this okay? Do you like this? But I feel like with a little bit of grace and time and experience, there's like a freaky side that comes out in the middle of this. This could involve like fellatio or cunnilingus or like rim jobs. But there's really just this importance of like someone who is persevering through maybe the uncertainty or the insecurity and discovering like their own sense of confidence, or a better understanding of what their partner likes. So it's definitely going to start off slow and awkward, but as it progresses, group number 2, it's going to get a little freaky. It's probably going to involve some toys. There may be some masturbation of one or the other involved. And especially like with this 5 of Stones, because that talks about like being left in the cold, and the Pilgrim in reverse, which is so interesting because we've got the Pilgrim right here in reverse. But then we've got the 9 of Stones, which is almost similar to a pilgrim. You know, she's got her own little walking stick. And so it's almost like one of the partners may be feeling like sexually frustrated. If some of you enjoy like edging or what would they call it? It's ridiculous how hot this lamp makes me, even though I'm not, it's not like up facing me at this point. I don't remember what it's called. But there may be like a dom situation where it's kind of like, I'm going to make you watch this and you can't do anything about it until I tell you that you can. And so there's also this feeling of a restriction of this sexual intensity building up until it, you know, it finally explodes, until someone within the connection is finally given permission to allow themselves to release, or until the system is figured out, and you're able to to kind of get into this groove. And I noticed, like, this kind of makes me think, you know, I noticed with this, you know, we've got these sides that are kind of like enclosing this child right there. And then we've got these stones right here that act almost in the same manner. There could be, someone could be into like under the bed straps. Just saying. We could have a pleasure dom here. And so what is the ending of this sexual encounter for group number 2? We've got the 8 of Stones in reverse. Okay. Okay. We've got the golden flower with, and I'm sorry, this was making me think of like golden shower. Then we've got the golden flower, temperance in reverse, and that could be, maybe golden showers are important if y'all are into that, cool beans. And the 2 of scrolls in reverse. Let's get some clarifiers on this. We've got the healer with the page of mirrors in reverse. We've got the 9 of mirrors upright. Oh, look at how sticky that looks. And then we've got the Ace of Stones. Okay. So there is a feeling of a lack of completion here, and it could be like maybe someone tires out and the other person like still wants to go, but I do see also as well that there is a sense of satisfaction. With the page of mirrors in reverse. That's the page of cups. Look at this. She's got a beehive right here. Like she's trying to collect. But we haven't been able to collect. We haven't been able to deposit. The 8 of Stones is all about mastery as well. So there may be somebody who, especially, okay, so if you're in a circumstance where someone within the connection struggles with like a physical impairment, or there's an injury, or you know, whatever, the individual who isn't personally physically affected by those things might not be able to accomplish all that they had wanted to in terms of like making the other person come. Let's be frank here. This is making me feel like someone who was trying to conceive, or and wasn't able to help the person with the penis ejaculate. This could also talk about just like, even if pregnancy isn't the goal here, just not having totally mastered the ability to sexually gratify their partner under the circumstances. Because let's be real, you know, sometimes if we're sick, you know, or we've just sustained an injury, like as much as we want to get to it, sometimes we just can't. Our body is like, I can't put my all into this. Like, and that doesn't mean there's anything wrong with you or with the other person. It's just sometimes our bodies don't have the spoons for that. And if this is like a struggle, like you know, trying to accommodate a partner or be accommodated when there's some kind of like disability or handicap involved, you know, sometimes we just have to try different things. And we can't all hold our bodies to the standard of what we think everybody else can endure. But this could also just indicate like running out of time, or wanting to continue, and even if there was completion, still wanting to engage in having sex, but not being able to do so. Like, maybe someone is like, I really have to get up early in the morning, so I need to split. I'm sorry. Or maybe like you're all are supposed to have family come over, and so you had a limited slot available of time where you could engage in this type of activity. But what this tells me is that it was enjoyed, very much enjoyed. Temperance in reverse, and I just keep thinking this is honeypot. Temperance in reverse is like excess, and we've got the 9 of mirrors, and like, just look how gooey this is. Like, somebody is leaving this like just wanting more, and so I don't feel like there's a lack of fulfillment in this connection. I feel like there is very much a sense of enjoyment that occurred, and it's going to leave one or both of you just really wanting more. Someone's going to be leaving pretty turned on, whether it's like not physically leaving, but the situation is going to have to end. I want to see if we can get another little clarifier about that. Oh, but you know what? Every time, I think this is going to be a situation where when you think about the person, or they think about you, or vice versa, both or whatever, there's going to be lust there. There's going to be like an enjoyment there. So even if there are insecurities present, I think that there is also going to be like the sense of like reminiscing. And so if this is a connection that could potentially happen again, this could just be something that you reflect on later and like come back and like, oh, I really like when we did this, or I liked when we did this. I liked how you touched me there. And just trying to take what you learned from this experience and put it into the next one. Or this could be something that tides you guys over until maybe the person is feeling a little bit better, recovered a little bit more. If this is a connection where the two of you aren't like living together, I think you will probably receive like a message from the other person about how they can't stop thinking about you. I keep thinking like, you're a dream, you're a goddess, you're a god. Like, and what I love about here is because we have so much like earth and fire energy underneath, but towards the end of it, we've got water energy here. So there is like emotional fulfillment. There is emotional gratification, and really like experiencing something that we've been wanting. There could be mirrors involved. So y'all might get it on freaky in the bathroom or in front of a bedroom mirror. I feel like someone's going to be tasting someone's fluids. I think someone's definitely getting a taste of someone's fluids. So what this feels to me, group number 2, is a to be continued situation. It's going to start off slow, a little uncertain. There could be pet play involved. There probably, to some degree, will be toys involved. I'm seeing a lot of hands. So I think there will be a lot of hand movements, like especially touching of the genitals. I definitely feel there's going to be a lot of hand usage in the genital area. There's definitely going to be juices flowing, and probably someone getting a taste of it, and maybe some mirror. There could be music, and if y'all are into like golden showers or under the bed straps. Ooh, see, we've got something about new ideas. Okay, that's definitely like that minstrel energy, right? We're getting creative. We're figuring things out. We've got the sea turtle. So someone is, someone's swimming through the juices, but sea turtles I also do see as like creative. This could take place for some of you, it could take place in the bath. This could be like shower or bath sex. Oh, look at this. We got hang loose. Just a reminder, like, or to, this is so dumb, I'm sorry. 2 in the pink, 1 in the stink. That's what's coming to mind. But I also feel like this is just saying, like, take it easy. Don't stress out too much. And both of you are really, you're going to enjoy this for what it is. It might be a stepping stone into being able to have a stepping stone into exploring different sexual avenues with each other. Or it could just be like, don't take this situation too seriously. There are other circumstances that are influencing this. And down the road, it'll get a little bit more easy. You won't be thinking about as much. And then we've got the squid. Aw, you guys made me ink. I should not be quoting a child's movie in a sexual reading. Sorry. I feel like suction here. So I feel like someone definitely could be using suction cups or like using their mouth to suction things, whether it's penis or the testicles, breasts. I'm thinking of like grabbing hands as well. So someone might be like really grabbing all around you, like on the booty, on the boobs, on the legs, on the thighs. For those of you, I know this is kind of cliche, but tentacle porn could be a thing. Maybe y'all are into hentai, rope play. So I do see with these stickers, like there's a lot of creativity and innovation that you guys are gaining through this experience. And that there is the potential for some kink in here. Yeah. And that might be where the nervousness is coming from. Like an inexperience in some of these kinks, but you're like, we want to try it. We want to try it. All right, and let's get some charms. Oh, we got quite a few. So wet and slippery, but also playful and fun. We've got 2 zodiac signs. Ooh, they're both Cancers. So for some of you, this could be indicative of like maybe a partner who's healing from like cancer treatments or whatever. And so that's why it's kind of like you're taking it slow, you're being gentle. But it also does say imaginative on here. So sometimes when we are trying new things, it can be very intimidating. But, you know, that's how you figure out, like, what do you enjoy? What does your partner enjoy? How do you even do it? You know, you can't master something if you never try it. This could be indicative of maybe one or both of you are Cancers or have like a Cancer Venus, maybe a Cancer Mars. And then we could be talking about like soulmates here. We've got, let's see, what else do we have? We have the bicycle. So someone may be required to travel and to get to this connection. I'm also just like, someone's getting ridden. Okay, someone's getting rode. We have, I think this is the rabbit. So I am seeing signs here that do also correlate to me with, because I wasn't going to say anything about the turtle, but I think of turtles as fertility symbols as well. But because we talked about this might not being an encounter that leads to pregnancy, I would say that maybe the opportunity is approaching. It's just not, you know, this may not quite be the time frame where that fertility is at its peak. But also like fucking like rabbits. I think it kind of brings out a sense of playfulness and joy between the two of you, whether you're committed partners or acquaintances, you know. Alcoholic beverages, it could be involved, so maybe I'll drink a few. And you get a little frisky, or maybe there's like a date at the bar. What did I say? Music, and it says good vibes. So remember, just have fun with this. We've got the heart with the key, so I'm also seeing like love hotel. The love shack with a little place where we can get together. Or this could also just be indicative of like this occurring at home. And then we have Thailand. So for some of you who, because we all know there are some very specific reasons people go to Thailand. So this may be indicative of your encounter if you are intending to go there for those purposes. Or else this could also just talk about like a partner who has Thai ancestry or a vacation in Thailand with a partner. So group number 2, I hope that this reading resonated. If it did, let me know how in the comment section down below. If you enjoyed it, give it a thumbs up. And if you would like to join our family and haven't done so, go ahead and hit the subscribe button and the notification bell so you'll know whenever I upload a new video. And if you're interested in a personal reading with yours truly, go ahead, find my information down in the description box down below. Send me an email and we'll get the conversation started. Bye. Hello, group number 3, you chose the Mojito sticker. So this will be a reading on what's going to happen in your next sexual encounter. We're going to be looking at the beginning, the middle, and the ending. And then we'll be pulling some charms and stickers to get more information. As I previously mentioned, I believe in the intro and also the other 2 piles, this is not a sexy time deck. But you know what? We're just going to work with it. We're going to get a little creative until I take the time to sit down and put stickers on my sexy decks. Man's just trying to shut us down. No, I mean, I understand. You know, I need to be careful. YouTube is utilized by all types of people, and anyone here should be over the age of 18. If you're not, get. Actually, like, I don't think my demographics show that anybody under the age of 18 watches my videos, which is like, cool by me. So, anyway, let's get into it. I just saw 111. All right, so what will happen during group 3's next sexual encounter? Don't be shy. Okay, so the 4 of Spirals. First and foremost, that tells me that this is going to be a very, oh, look at that, the Muse. A very, like, physically, at the very least, if not mentally and emotionally fulfilling. And like I said, emotionally, we got the Sojourner, the King of Mirrors. Page of Stones in reverse. Okay, I want to get a clarifier for that. Let's get a clarifier for the 4 of Spirals. I've got the Sorceress, the High Priestess, and the 4 of Scrolls in reverse. So this could, for some of you, be at like a house party. We can look literally at the 4 of Wands or Spirals as being like a celebration. Excuse me, I'm going to sneeze. Oh no, it's not going to do that, is it? It's going to be like, I'm going to sneeze, and then I'm not going to sneeze. And we have the Sorceress here, the High Priestess with the 4 of Scrolls in reverse. So somebody is like very active. This could be like a housewarming party or just like a house party, a get together. Even like if it's like a date night at home, you know, y'all are sitting there like Netflix and chilling. But With the Four of Scrolls in reverse, it talks about coming out of a period of rest. So there's a sense of activity. Could be even like somebody got home from being away at work, or meeting up after being at a distance for whatever reason. The Muse with the Sojourner here tells me, we got the Three of Scrolls in reverse. I'm going to put that between. Tells me that this is going to be very romantic in the beginning. Even if it is like house party, I think that there's going to be a lot of like, Romeo, Romeo, wherefore art thou, Romeo? And, Juliet is the sun, and however, I haven't read that in so long. But I'm pretty sure I have the Romeo and Juliet deck next to me, so I'm pretty sure the quote is like on there. But there's going to be a situation where I feel like there's a person in this connection that does represent the muse. A person who is just glowing and radiant, probably someone who's popular if this is like a house party, or somebody who is just very visibly alluring. And that could even be like y'all are watching a movie at home, kids are in bed, maybe you got no makeup on if you're a female, or like you're male, maybe you haven't like shaved and you're in your pajamas or whatever. But there's still the sense of like intense like sexual and physical attraction. And there's whoever is represented by the King of Mirrors, the Sojourner, is, I think, making the move, probably coming up with a drink, if this is at a party, complimenting the Queen of Spirals, flattering them, maybe like giving a massage, doing something that really appeals emotionally. And with the Three of Scrolls in reverse, this tells me that this is like healing a heartbreak. So for instance, if there's a house party, we're going to keep going with this. If the King of Mirrors notices that like the Queen of Spirals is kind of sitting by themselves, going over and like trying to make them feel included in the interaction. If there was a fight between the two of these individuals, if like they're a couple or whatever, I think this is the King of Mirrors coming forward and trying to apologize. Oh, baby, you were so right. I'm so sorry. Or like, I didn't mean to hurt your feelings. Even could be like, if, sometimes how when we put extra effort into ourselves or into something that we do and we don't get the reaction that we anticipated, it seems muted, or like our effort was kind of neglected or ignored. Someone notices that, whether it's the person that we intended to assist with the actions, or grab their attention, or whether it's someone else just kind of notices and comes over to like reassure you, like you are noticed, like you are attractive, you are appreciated. There may at first be, with this Page of Stones in reverse clarified by the Six of Spirals, there may be a rejection at first, or an indication like I'm not in the mood. Or someone is so stuck in their head that they're not really accepting of the attention being offered to them. Like, oh man, I'm just thinking about how Jimmy rejected me, and I got Scott over here. He's being nice, whatever, but I'm so upset about Jimmy. Not that Scott isn't attractive, not that we don't have a crush on Scott either, but just like we may not be noticing the attention. And though I always feel iffy about putting scenarios forward like this, because I want to clarify, like, we don't owe anybody attention. And we don't we aren't owed attention. So my intention is never to like channel energy that is advocating for like things like coercion or anything like that. Never, never. This could be like a pouting situation where it was just like, yeah, like I flippin' bought you the decanter set that you have been crying around about for like 3 months, and like I didn't even get a thank you, or like, oh, I put on your favorite cologne, and like just not getting any kind of reaction. So there could be like a pouting situation as well. So it seems like there's a feeling of disconnect. We've got the Lovers here in reverse, which can talk about like separation or blockages. It can also be talking about like choosing independence, following a higher path than sticking together in a situation. So I think there's going to be an attempt made here in the very beginning, and there's going to be kind of a rebuff, or just a flat out like a not acknowledgement of it. There might not even be awareness of it. So what happens in the middle? Because obviously it doesn't end here. We've got the Companion, the King of Spirals. We've got the Two of Spirals in reverse and the Ace of Spirals. And the Eight of Spirals in reverse. This is all fire. Someone is very determined here. What does this King of Spirals do? The Illusionist, the Knight of Stones. There could be a sense of distraction. If someone here is, for instance, really stressed, I think that whoever is representing the Companion is offering a way for a distraction. So it could be like, that's a house party. Hey, come dance with me. If it's at home, it's like, let me give you a shoulder massage. It's interesting. Do we have birds with all of these cards? No. So we've got 2 cards here that depict birds. And so that makes me think of like flying the coop. Let's blow this popsicle stand. I think there's travel. There's travel here. With the Ace of Spirals, there's an idea. What's that idea? The Five of Spirals in reverse with the Hierophant. It's pampering. Someone's getting pampered. Absolutely. I'm hearing, I'm just a baby. Someone could be into age play. So there might be like a daddy dom and little situation, or like a dom little situation that's going on here. And then we've got the Minstrel with the King of Stones. Okay. This is, all 3 readings were kind of slow burns, but I think this is the slowest burn of them all. I feel like the King of Mirrors here is really trying to appeal to the muse. Whether this is like a public setting and they're just like, I'm really trying to get the muse's attention. Let's go somewhere private to talk. Let's get on the dance floor. Let's dance. Let's go out for a smoke. Let's go for a drive. If this is more of like a domestic situation where the two of you are like in a committed relationship, it's more like, baby, let me take care of you. Let me rub your body down with oils. Let me wash your hair. Let me like make a nice little dessert tray for you. Let me rub your feet. Let me tell you how handsome you are. And I don't think the person who's doing this is really pressed. This isn't someone who I would say is necessarily doing something to get laid. Because I think in this situation, I think they genuinely do enjoy taking care of the other person. They do enjoy giving attention to the other person. Even if this is just like a house party, it's kind of like, oh my God, I get to listen to pile number 3, or like, I get to go on a ride with them. I get to sit by the campfire with them. I get to share a drink with them. Oh my God. And if this is at home, it's more like, I know I fucked up, or I want to make my partner feel good. They're not feeling the greatest. There could be someone like playing music. I'm seeing like a piano if someone's like playing the Chopin or something like that. They could even be like just pulling up a sexy playlist. They could be singing. I think there is like a sense of sensuality here, especially if there is the ability to physically touch. What's physically, I want to see like what is physically happening. Okay, the 10 of Stones in reverse. It's not sexual. And I know we're talking about what's going to happen next in your next sexual experience. But what I mean by it's not sexual is it's not with the intent, like the pure intent of being sexual. There is, I wouldn't always look at stones as being like an indication of sexual activity, but it is grounded. Stones are about laying foundations and having a purpose. And with the 10 of Stones in reverse, that can talk about like, that can talk about not having necessarily a certain motive or not having an end goal. But we've got the 2 of Mirrors here, guys. Like someone just genuinely wants to pay attention to you. And maybe that's what you need at this point. Maybe there's been a bad breakup. Maybe you're feeling neglected. Maybe you're just stressed out about things. So let's see. There's just like a soul bonding here, I feel like. Let's see what we can get for how the ending of the sexual encounter occurs. Because there's gonna be something. Ooh, the 10 of Spirals. The Hanged Man. Someone might be hanging. The 6 of Stones in reverse. And the 5 of Stones in reverse. I feel like someone's stomach is kind of in knots, but like in a good way. Like, look at all this knot work that we've got here. Okay, so what's this 10 of Spirals? Kali in reverse. The Hanged Man. The 5 of Scrolls in reverse. The 6 of Stones. The 9 of Spirals. Okay. Oh, that's lovely. And the 5 of Stones. In reverse, the 7. Oh, and I didn't do back of the deck energies for the other two. We've got the Pilgrim with the, which is this Page of Scrolls with the Emperor Green Man back here. And let me tell you this. This encounter is all about one person giving. So I'm just hearing like, I'll carry the load. I'll carry the load, group number 3. I'll do all the hard work. Like, you just relax. And this is a position I definitely think where one person they're not going to experience necessarily any sexual gratification. There's no reciprocity here. And the energy of that is, that's okay. Like, just making sure, unless you are like someone who is, I would say, like, very subservient in the fact that I'm going to be honest. I love reciprocity, but, and I cannot be with a partner who is like only a receiver. Like, cannot do it. But there are times when like my greatest joy is just giving to my partner. Like, having that power and control over the pleasure that they receive, and also like being able to do that for them, gives me immense pleasure. And so this might be a similar situation where the other person is just going like, I just want to make group 3 happy. I do. And so this person, they're going to be putting their all into it, okay? And I think that there's a lot of different things that they could probably do. I think they're going to do the physical work. I think there's going to be like oral, there's going to be hands involved, there's going to be being the one who has the weight of it. So like, if you want to be a pillow princess, whether you're male or female, somewhere in between, neither, they'll totally be okay with that. Like, but they're going to be sweating because they are going to be putting in the work. The Hanged Man with the 5 of Scrolls in reverse. I feel like that just means worries melting away. You know, you're going to come out of this way less stressed. I think this is going to be a situation where it's like, if there was any frustration or insecurity in your mind, you're going to be like wobbly legged. Maybe like finding it hard to motivate yourself to pick yourself up and dust yourself off and get about the rest of your night if you do have anything left to do. I think this is going to be one of those things that kind of puts like a smile on your face and puts you into like a sex coma for a little while. With the 6 of Stones in reverse, this makes me think of blowing. So someone's definitely getting some oral done there. And this just makes me think of penetration. Like, this makes me think, oh, that spot where like a man's penis joins with like his pelvic area. Oh, there's just, I don't know, something beautiful about it. Someone might have some piercings down there too. I'm thinking of the knots right there as well. There's definitely one party is definitely going to orgasm. And there's no frustrations about the other person not receiving any sexual gratification either. There's no like, well, you owe me now, or what about me? Like, I feel like this is something where at the end of the day, like at the end of the situation, they're going to come to you, pile number 3, and they're going to be like, so how are you feeling? How are you doing? But this is somebody who, with the Pilgrim and the Emperor, really just wants to take care of you. So overall, I don't feel like this is going to be something that's particularly exciting or that, is going to be particularly active for you unless you're the one who wants to do the activity. But I feel like it's going to be very therapeutic. It's going to be very cathartic. Are there any specific sexual activities or scenarios that we can read about? Because this one's significantly shorter than the others. Watcher. The Queen of Mirrors in reverse. Okay, so y'all are going to definitely be leaving a crowd behind, whether that's the kids, friends, or like other party goers. Phoenix with the Two of Scrolls. It's going to be like coming alive. And that's so beautiful how like they have the wings here. They're both like outstretched. There could be an opportunity for a round 2 if it was what you wanted. Some of you might feel like a sense of coming alive, and even though this person doesn't expect anything in return, you might be like, okay, my turn now. Or they might be willing to go again. Like you come and then maybe you take a little bit of a break and then it's like, nope, we're going right away. For some people this could involve, any of these really could involve like same-sex couples, but I'm just thinking of like seeing the rainbow here. What else do we have? Ariadne with Death in reverse. So with that, because, she was the one who created she gave the guy, I can't remember what his name was, who the character was, but she gave the guy the ball of yarn so he could find himself out of the maze. This isn't going to be, I think, a sexual interaction that's going to be very complicated. I don't think there are going to be a lot of party tricks done. I don't think there's going to be a lot of different positions. I think that overall this is just going to be a very basic sexual encounter, but you're going to enjoy it. It's kind of like it scratched the itch you didn't even know you had. And this could also represent, like, this is just in familiar territory, especially since we've got that Four of Wands right there. This is somewhere where you feel comfortable, that is something that, a place that you're familiar with. Okay. We got the Ace of Mirrors with the Ten of Scrolls in reverse. The Magician with the Healer, the Page of Mirrors in reverse, and the Visionary, the Knight of Scrolls in reverse. I love how these all have like different names to them. And then we've got the Dreamer with Psyche, which is the world, and the Four of Stones upright, and the Wheel of Fortune in reverse. So for some of you, there's been like a really difficult time, and I think that this is going to be an experience that helps you develop some sort of clarity or difference of perspectives. So there's this author that I really love. Her name's Laurel K. Hamilton. She's most known for the Anita Blake series, the vampire novel, like Hunter series. But I know her because of Meredith Gentry, which is about like the Fae, and it's very spicy literature. Okay, like I picked it up from, maybe some of you won't know this, but there was a bookstore that was called Walden's, and it was in mall settings, and it was also owned by the bookstore that used to exist called Borders. And they had like a little display, and I saw one of her Meredith Gentry novels on there, and I was like 14, and I was like, oh my God, this looks cool. And I bought it, and boy, was it so much more intense than I expected. But absolutely love her work. And one of the things she said was that sometimes when she needed inspiration, how she found the ability to develop that was by having sex with her husband. You know, it's just like something that allowed her to be creative. And so I think there's going to be a new idea birthed out of this. There's going to be a release of tension. I am noticing here with the eyes, you may want to just, there may be an interruption, or like if there are other people like in the house with you, children, family, friends, they may, someone's got a long trunk if they have a trunk, or else they're, okay, anyway, finish my thought. Or even like friends around, they may hear. So if that's not something that you want people to hear, you may want to find ways to muffle that, like with music or by like gags or something. I don't know. Why do I have the page of healers, like, well, the healers in reverse with the visionary in reverse? Oh, you know what? I bet that's why. Yeah, because we're seeing, we're realizing like this is transforming our understanding of like maybe where we struggled emotionally or we didn't see clarity in things, and now it's just kind of like we are able to, like, it's kind of like sex magic, guys. I don't know. Is it like sex magic? Or just like you're kind of able to harness like the high of having sex and turn that into something very empowering for you. It could even be like if this is a long-term relationship or where maybe there were some fights or whatever and it's been kind of weighing down on you guys. It might be the spark that helps you kind of navigate through the difficulties of the connection and learn to appreciate each other more or feel appreciated. So we're going to use some stickers. So someone could have a long trunk. They could also just be kind of nosy. So like if this is a situation where someone recognizes that like, hey, you're not doing so hot. Also makes me think of like the dom and the little where maybe stuffies are involved. But elephants are also really wise and they have a high endurance. So we can look at this as like some like wisdom coming out of this situation. Or endurance, like, and the wisdom of like how to help you release insecurities or frustrations or, make you feel better about yourself. We got good vibes. So what that makes me think of is, this is overall just like a really positive experience. This is something that brings harmony out and happiness and confidence. Someone's eating some kitty, if there's a kitty involved. I also keep, you know what? And I'm just going to throw this out there because I was thinking about it with the magician as well. Maybe glory holes. I don't know. That could be a thing for someone. There could also just be like food involved. You know, whether it's like food, like aphrodisiac food to encourage like the sexual drive, or just like nibbling food off of you, treating you like dessert. And then We got the cactus. So I kind of feel like that's reaffirming someone's a little prickly up there. This also does make me think of like if someone has a penis, seeing the one-eyed snake pop out a little bit, or especially like if a person has a penis that is not circumcised. This makes me think of like the foreskin being drawn back. I'm just gonna get like one more. Okay, and then I got 3. Aw. So we have 2 scrunchies, which can indicate, I don't know, I'm thinking of like wrist cuffs, but also like pulling back the hair. And then we've got the van. So once again, this may require that the 2 of you travel somewhere. Could be traveling to another room, could be going for a drive. Maybe y'all are camping. Even though we've got this feeling of like a house, you know, camping can bring around feelings of like nostalgia, feeling comfortable out in nature, all those good things. Got a lot of purple here too, so that makes me think of like the crown chakra being connected to our psychic senses. So this could be something that feels like psychically awakening for some of you. And maybe there was just so much tension that you felt blocked off from your intuition. Okay, so we're going to see what we got. We got a lot here. We got sweater. So it could be kind of chilly out. Especially if this is occurring in the evening. We've got compass. So someone giving you direction, someone taking direction. Maybe like we said, this could be out camping. Someone who was like, you're their I'm thinking of like compass rose. Like you're what they're navigating to. Oh, and then of course, rose. Oh my God. I didn't even look at that. Rose. There is a level of romanticism here of offering gifts. So even if this ends up just being like a one-time deal with someone that like you're not super familiar with or anything, I feel like this is a situation that's going to leave you feeling better about yourself. Cloud. Could be dreamy, could be under the sky, like outside. So we could be looking at outside. Even if this is like a house party, being outside in nature and exploring, like getting treated a little bit. The devil. So there could be Capricorn energy involved. There could be some sort of like feeling of addiction, like, you know, like someone who might have their sights set on you. Or maybe like we've got with this prickly pear and then some of this other energy where there was like a kind of the rebuff at first. Playing a little devilish, like I'm hearing like, ooh, she a devil, she led by the bitch, she a rebel. We've got bear. So if this is like a same-sex situation where there's like 2 men involved, one of them could be a bear. So we got like hairy chest and, you know, stout and mouse. Ooh, so there could be like a big height difference here and a big weight difference. Someone could be a little bit mousy, a little bit more shy, a little bit more timid. And then the other person could be a little bit more of like a predator. Like I got my sights set on group number 3. We've got January. So for some of you, if you're going through a dry spell, this might not happen until January, when for at least where I am in the world. My boyfriend was talking about like, oh, winter, July, because he's from South Africa, you know. And I'm like, what? July is not the... What the hell? I could never imagine. And we grew up on different hemispheres, you know. So I get it, but it just like I had never thought about wintertime being different for other locations in the world. Someone could be born in January though, also, which would make sense. You know, we've got that would coincide with Capricorn weather. We've got 11/11. Holy shit, guys! Because we were talking about how I saw 111 earlier, and now I've got 1111. We've got the sun, which I was really noticing the sun out here. So it could be daytime. There could be significant Leo placements. It could be something that fulfills like your sun sign's needs, like, you know, who your core essence is. It could also just be about like feeling really good. We've got the TV. So this, for all you young kids who aren't really so young, because I don't have anybody young watching me as far as I know, thank God. The TV would look like this sometimes at night, like during hours when they really didn't have anything broadcasting. So this could be talking about how this is really at a time of the day or night when there's not a lot of activity typically going on. This could also be like the rebuff signal right here. Y'all could be watching TV like we talked about, maybe Netflix and chilling. There could be porn involved. You know, y'all could be watching porn to kind of set the mood or whatever. We've got the owl. I'm watching you. I mean, no one's really watching you. We talked about that. Although some people might hear you. Although, like, look at these eyes. But owls are about wisdom, another indicator of the night. I'm Batman. We got Splish Splash. Maybe it's by a beach, but this also just talks about, like, you know, dolphins having fun. Like, they have fun. This is friendship. This is enjoyment. Could be a casual connection, could be something more intimate, but at the end of the day, it's something that both parties are really going to have fun with. Time, I don't actually know what... I'm such a bad witch. I don't know what time means there, but we can look at it like time. This might not be a quickie. I mean, it could be for some of you, so it could be like short of time, but this could also be just something where the person takes their time. And then we've got the blue here. So it could be another symbol for like, a gay man and another gay man. Well, I guess they don't have to be gay. I apologize. Wow. Bi erasure, pan erasure. My bad. But we can also look at this as like symbol of water, maybe the mountains, like what we were thinking about with camping. So group number 3, I hope you enjoyed this reading. If it resonated with you, please let me know how in the comment section down below. If you enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up. And if you'd like to be a part of our family, you can do so by hitting the subscribe button and the notification bell so you'll know whenever I upload a new video. And if you would like a personal reading from yours truly, you can find my contact information in the description box down below. Send me a message and we'll get talking about it. All right. Bye.